There lived a rich young man named Thomas. He was 32 years old. Thomas was to inherit his father's company, but there was one condition: he must marry. His father told him clearly, "If you don't marry, I will not give you the company. Instead, I will sell it and donate the money to the less privileged." Thomas was a man of dignity. He didn't like women much. He kept very few friends and avoided emotional attachments, whether with men or women. So when his father told him this, Thomas was angry and speechless. But he said to his father, "Dad, don't worry. I will prove to you that I am capable. I will get myself a wife." His father responded, "You better do, son, because you are running out of time." The next day, Thomas called his friend James. "Hey James, bro, I need your help, please." James replied, "What's the matter, my good friend?" Thomas said, "I'm in trouble. My father said I can't inherit any property until I get a wife. But I'm not interested in marrying in this generation because the women out there cannot be trusted." James said, "No problem. I will get you a good, faithful girl. Then you can go on a dinner date with her." Thomas's mother, Veronica, had always been a good mother to Thomas, but she often cheated on her husband, Clement, Thomas's father. Miss Veronica would bring men to hotels and spend lavishly on them. Her husband caught her several times, but he didn't have time for her anymore, and she lived in another house she had bought. This was the main reason Clement refused to hand over the company to Thomas. He feared Thomas would start showing off with ladies and spending lavishly on them, just like his mother. Days passed. Thomas found himself a girlfriend. They dated only for weeks, and then he proposed to her. He did not know the decision he made was a bad one. Dating for just 2 weeks and then marrying the person is a bad idea, his friend James said. But Thomas refused to listen. "Just let me be," he said. "It's my burden to bear." After the traditional wedding, though they didn't have a white wedding, she moved in with Thomas in their beautiful, rich mansion. His father, Clement, was happy. "My son, I am sorry for underestimating you, but don't worry, I will prepare the documents for company ownership. There is a lot to learn about how the company functions. I will call my manager from the oil and gas company tomorrow. He will come and we will discuss better. At the same time, he will get to know you in person," Clement said. Thomas replied, "Okay, Dad, if you say so." The next day, the manager arrived in his car. He sat on the couch and was offered a drink as a guest. Clement said, "Manager?" "Yes, sir." "This is my only son. I have 2 children. My daughter is studying abroad at one of the best universities. Thomas here is going to be the next CEO. He has a lot to learn, so you guide him. Mess up and you lose your job." The manager responded, "Okay, sir." But inside he felt bad and jealous. He thought, "How can this young man be my boss? I will have to do something." Since Clement said Thomas was his only son, the manager thought, "Okay, let's watch and see." 1 month later, Miss Veronica gave her life to Christ and became a born-again Christian. She drove to her husband's house, but the security man refused to let her in. She shouted loudly, "So you have the guts to lock me outside, right? You forgot who the madam is in this house?" The security man said, "Madam, I like you, but I'm just obeying orders from Ogre. I don't want to lose my job. He told me never to let you into this house, whether he is around or not." Veronica asked, "Okay, is he inside?" The security guard said, "Yes, please wait. Let me call him for you." The security man went inside the big house and told his ogre that his ex-wife was there. Clement shouted, "Get out of this place! Never tell me such a thing again! Do I make myself clear?" The security man answered, "Yes, sir." He quickly left and told the madam waiting outside the gate. Veronica drove away, crying and regretting her past. She asked herself why she messed up so badly to cheat on her husband. Days passed. Thomas's wife, Miss Ruth, asked permission from her loving husband. "Please, may I take your car to go out? I'm bored staying in the mansion all day." Thomas didn't know he had married a gold digger. He said, "Okay, you can go anytime you want, but please don't come back late." She said, "Okay, my husband." She drove to James's house. James was there and they were happy because their plan was working. But Thomas did not know that Ruth, his wife, was James's fiancée. James told Ruth the next plan: stay low and let Thomas fully own the company. After that, we will silence him and his father Clement. Then we will take over the company and enjoy the wealth. They popped champagne and cheered. The CEO's manager had never been well since meeting his new boss. He was so jealous that he planned to kidnap Thomas to force him to leave the city. But when he told his wife, she shouted, "No, don't try that. He's not a stranger. He's the son of your boss. There is no need for such a plan." The manager slowly changed his mind. Weeks passed. Clement handed over every document concerning the company to Thomas. Ruth smiled and whispered to herself, "It's time." Innocent Thomas thought he married a good wife. He did not know he made a bad choice. He would live to regret it. Sometimes it's not good to put full trust in your friends. Now Thomas was about to lose everything. The next morning, Clement and Thomas drove to the company for Thomas's first day at work. At the office, Clement said, "Today, I will introduce my son to all the staff. He will continue where I stopped because I am aging and getting weaker. From today, he is the superior boss, the CEO of the oil and gas company worth over $10 billion. Everyone clapped for Thomas. He was introduced to his office. He sat on the chair, checking files on the system, while his father smiled close by. Clement said, "I remember when I was young like you, son, when I started this company many years ago. Time runs so fast. Today, you are just like me back then. One day your son will take over. Such is life." Thomas replied, "Yes, father. That's the irony of life. In this life, we come and go. No one lives forever." They both smiled. Thomas drove his father home after work. When they reached home, Ruth happily opened the gate. Thomas asked, "Why did you open the gate? What happened to the gate man?" She said, "Nothing's wrong. I just wanted to do it today. You know, I'm very happy for you." Clement smiled. "Of course you should be happy. Behind every successful man, there is always a good woman beside him. You are one, Ruth." They ate their night food. Around midnight, Ruth quietly grabbed her phone while Thomas was asleep. She texted James, "It's done." James drove roughly with his gang to the place. The gate man was already sleeping because his food had sleeping pills. James jumped over the gate and opened it. Ruth quietly opened the house door and ran inside the room to pretend she was sleeping. James entered the room and made some noise. Everyone woke up and pleaded. "Please don't harm us," Clement cried. "Please don't hurt my only son." Thomas whispered, trying to recognize the voice. This voice sounds familiar. James and his gang wore masks, so Thomas couldn't see their faces. Luckily, the gate man woke up, feeling dizzy and confused. He saw a strange car parked inside the compound at that time of night. He heard strange sounds that sounded like a threat. He walked quietly to the window, close to where the noise was coming from, which was the parlor window. He heard voices of people requesting for documents and money. So he was afraid and knew someone had just broken into the house. Then he texted the Madame Superb. He also called her. Then Miss Veronica's phone was ringing in her room while she was asleep. She woke up and picked the phone. Hearing the news, she acted fast and called the police. That night, luckily, she was on her way coming with the police. Then Mr. Clement had already brought out his box and gave them $1 million he had in the money box. They took the documents of the company and house. They left. While driving that night, passing a narrow street, they jammed with the police. So, Miss Veronica couldn't detect or suspect anything because she was leading the police. But when she passed as the first police car could pass, the policeman at the front seat looked behind the mirror but saw no plate number on the car at the back. He tipped the second police van to block them, and they blocked them. Now the robbers were stuck in the middle. Miss Veronica was confused why the two police vans suddenly stopped. She also stopped and was watching as the police came down from the car. Some of the robbers ran out of the car, but they couldn't catch them. They caught James and unmasked him to see his face. When Miss Veronica saw him, she shouted, "How could you have done this to your best friend?" The police handcuffed him and he was locked up in prison. At home, Ruth, the wife of Thomas, didn't know what was happening. She thought that they had won. When Miss Veronica drove to her ex-husband's house, the gateman opened the gate for her and she went inside. She gave them courage. At that moment, Mr. Clement didn't care if they had issues before, but he welcomed her. She told Mr. Clement, her son Thomas and his wife Ruth, that she captured the criminal and he was in the police station. She said, "You won't believe who the criminal was." Then Mr. Clement asked, "Please who?" She said, "It's Thomas's best friend." Mr. Clement and Thomas were shocked. Then Ruth felt scared because she knew she was in big trouble. Before noon tomorrow, she would be arrested because she played a part in the game. The next day, the police questioned James, the criminal. "Who's your accomplice?" they asked. He said, "Just him." Then the police said, "I have no option, but you will be in prison for a lifetime." Then he said, "I and Ruth, my fiancée, the wife of my friend Thomas." That was how Ruth was arrested together with Thomas. Clement did another wedding again with his ex-wife, Miss Veronica, and the home was peaceful again. Please, if you love this story, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel because this is just the beginning. We have more interesting stories to publish. Thanks.